Welcome back to Culty Country with Jess and Kirsten. This is our 5th episode. We're so proud of ourselves for staying on track.
I know. 5 months straight.
Yeah, we're doing so good. And thanks again to our family members who are watching.
Yes, exactly.
Today, Kirsten's going to walk us through a cult. I don't even remember what was selected, so I'll hand it over.
I did Bikram. It's about Bikram Chodru, which is the founder of hot yoga.
Okay.
So I think it could be considered a cult, but there is controversy on if it is or if it is not.
Okay.
So, yeah. We're ready to dive in?
Yeah. Take us away.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a little bit of background and putting you in a room that is 104 degrees. The carpet's damp, the mirrors are fogged, and 50 people stand shoulder to shoulder waiting for the man they call Guru, which basically starts it out as possibly a cult, in my opinion. I'm like, well, you're already following somebody. This is the world of Bikram Yoga, a global empire built on sweat, discipline, and the promise of transformation. But behind the heat and behind the celebrity endorsements and the sold-out teacher trainings lies a story of control, manipulation, allegations so severe they fractured the empire from within. Today we're diving deep into the life of Bikram Chodri, not probably pronouncing that correctly, the man who brought hot yoga to the West and the man accused of turning his movement into something far darker. And this is the story about power, about belief, and the thin line between devotion and control. So we'll just start with before the Rolls Royces, before the stadium-sized teacher trainings, the lawsuits, the documentaries, where there was a boy from Calcutta, India, or so it supposedly goes. It's actually come to find out that a lot of what he's told are lies.
Oh.
So yeah, we do know that he was born in 1944, but again, part of that's also debated. There's so many debates going back and forth on this man. He began yoga at age 5. He claimed he won the National Yoga Championship of India 3 years in a row.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Same. He claimed he healed himself from a devastating injury using only yoga. But the first national yoga competition in India did not even exist until 1974, and that was years after he had left the country. So there's one.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one lie. But what we do know is he trained under a guru named as Vishnu Charane Ghosh, a respected yoga teacher. He was ambitious, charismatic, and hungry for something bigger. And in the early 70s is when he moved to America and found his stage. So before that first national yoga competition.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What a weird choice to make.
Right? Something to lie about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So strange. So he arrived in LA in 1971, and he stepped into a cultural movement ripe for spiritual experimentation. Hollywood was obsessed with Eastern mysticism, and celebrities were searching for enlightenment or at least a good workout. Bikram offered both. 26 postures, 2 breathing exercises, 90 minutes, and 104 degrees. Sounds like my hell. Honestly. I love heat, but that's sweat. That's moist heat and sounds terrible.
It's real slow.
True.
And your skin looks phenomenal for days afterwards. My only beef with hot yoga is that the music is way too loud and I can't hear the instruction over the music because of my hearing.
Yeah.
So I only have done it once. But if I could do quiet hot yoga, I would be all over that.
I like it. We'll see if that's. I don't remember seeing anything, but there could be there could be somebody that does that. He claimed the heat purified the body, that the sequence healed chronic pain, and he could fix anything from arthritis to depression. And people believed him. And at that time, probably in the 70s, 80s, that was even 90s, a big, easy thing for people to believe because it was something people wanted.
Yeah, and I know we're on this topic, but I definitely don't want anybody to fully discount what
Oh,
yoga
no,
can or can't
100%.
do for your body
Yeah,
or your mental health, because
I do
when
think
you
it's
said
amazing.
that depression, I thought of two things. One, my own situation in a yoga class where there are certain poses you do where you feel an emotional release,
Mm-hmm.
and then a scene from a Canadian TV show where they're doing yoga and the girl just bursts out crying. And I was
Yes.
like, yes, I have felt that
Yep.
in yoga
No,
too.
100%.
So, yeah, there is
Yeah.
something about it that
I
does
definitely think
something.
yoga is a very healing practice.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that, or it must get us to really get in touch with what's
Yeah.
happening inside
Mm-hmm.
in a way that our
Mm-hmm.
fast-paced society doesn't
Yeah.
let us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Studios exploded all over the U.S., and teacher trainings cost anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 per person just to become a hot yoga teacher or a Bikram yoga, teacher.
Yeah.
Celebrities like Madonna, George Clooney, and Lady Gaga swore by the practice, and again, they probably still do. And I do think there are valid parts to the hot yoga and yoga in general. But Bikram wasn't just teaching yoga, he was building a brand and positioning himself as the only person who could teach it correctly.
Mm.
So that's kind of where it starts to get a little murky on what he was believing in.
Yeah.
To understand the rise of Bikram yoga, you have to understand the man at its center. So he was theatrical. He wore Rolexes, drove Rolls Royces, strutted around in tiny black Speedos. He berated students. He insulted their weight, their flexibility, their intelligence, and yet they kept coming back.
I would not return to one of those.
Right? Yeah. Right. Because he made them feel chosen. He made them feel like they were special. He told them they were special, told them they were strong, and told them they were part of something bigger, a movement that could change the world.
Oh, no, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And they became devoted to him. And because devotion can be powerful, but in the wrong hands, devotion becomes control. So I think this is where it gets into that fine line of his specific teachings and how he handled things could be considered cult-like.
Yeah.
For sure. His trainings were legendary and infamous. They were held in hotels for 9 weeks at a time, and they required you to be up for up to 14 hours a day of yoga, lectures, and posture clinics, sleep deprivation, strict obedience, isolation from the outside world, and a scripted dialogue instructors had to memorize word for word.
No, thank you.
Uh-huh. Participants described the environment as militaristic, emotionally intense, physically punishing, and psychologically manipulative. He controlled the schedule, he controlled the food, and he controlled when the people could speak, sleep, or even use the bathroom. In the Netflix documentary that I watched, it's called Bikram. There's actually interviews of people that during the trainings and everything like that, because he required when they could use the restrooms, they had to pee in bottles, like water bottles, or like over in the corner, and you're just like, and you stayed. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I'm all for camping and peeing. If you have to go to the restroom, finding the best ways you can, but can't imagine doing that for one yoga and for some lunatic teaching that as well.
And paying for it.
Yeah. And also paying $15,000. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most important thing that he controlled, though, was access to the certification. And if you did not have the Bikram yoga certification, you were not qualified to teach hot yoga or Bikram yoga. So without his approval, you couldn't teach it. And in 2009, he tried to claim his 26 postures was under copyright, and without his authority, you could not teach or present it. In 2011, he started a lawsuit against a competing studio in New York that was founded by a former student. And in 2012, he filed his first copyright claim. And thankfully, the United States Copyright Office issued clarification that yoga postures cannot be copyrighted and that anyone is free to teach them.
Well, good.
Yeah.
We'd all be violating it every day.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you just stretching are some of
common
some of yoga.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Beginning in 2013, the cracks in Bikram's empire start to burst. Multiple women came forward with allegations of sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape, retaliation, and abuse of power. Former employees described being forced to massage him, being pressured into his hotel room, being verbally abused, and threatened if they spoke out.
Well,
yeah,
that's a different.
yeah, it's a little scary how he thought of himself, I guess, and ran his what could have been a huge, well, is, but for him could have been a big thing to his name of something good, of bringing.
Yeah, why would you want to risk?
Yeah,
I mean, if you are that powerful, why would you risk it? But again, once you become that powerful, you try to hold on as much power as possible, and then you abuse it. It seems.
Yep.
That's a common path. Yeah.
In 2016, Chaudhry had returned to India and began opening studios, and his attorney stated that his client would not return to the U.S. to defend any of these claims in cases that were pending against him. In late 2016, there was an interview with Bryant Gumbel on Real Sports, where in response to sexual allegations, his response was, "Why would I need to harass women? People spend $1 million just for a drop of my sperm." How gross. I read that and was like, my jaw dropped. I could not even imagine somebody saying that.
I can't either, but I also think what a weird defense when we know how many attractive serial killers, sexual abusers there are who didn't need to do what they did because they could have had the pick of anybody they wanted, but they specifically wanted to target people, make them scared, and take advantage. This guy's no different.
No.
That's crazy town.
Right? In my opinion, he's just a narcissist with that statement as well, which we've...
Elon Musk and much?
Yeah, right. And I think, honestly, with even some of his teachings and stuff, and the lawsuit actually described the environment he was creating as cult-like because he became an authoritarian leader. And I wouldn't disagree with some of those.
Yeah.
In 2017, a Los Angeles court ordered Bikram to pay $7 million to his former legal advisor, Meenakshi Jaffa Bodin, after she accused him of wrongful termination and harassment. Instead of paying, he fled the United States, and an arrest warrant was issued. But people still took his trainings and went all over the world for them, and he still has obviously not been arrested or come back and paid $7 million.
So her suit wasn't sexual. It was just...
It was based solely on he terminated her because she was speaking out and telling him to stop doing things.
Oh my gosh.
And he started harassing her verbally, mentally, physically, I believe, and terminated her.
That's what he got convicted on.
Yeah.
But the others?
I don't think that they fully go into too much on those, what I could find.
Okay. That's so interesting.
Because he fled, and so he has not been able to come back to be tried. Yeah. They haven't finished those cases because he won't come back to be tried for them. And he's staying in countries where he can't be extradited.
What a messy globe we're on.
I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he continued teaching internationally in Spain, Mexico, Thailand, and anywhere beyond American courts' reach. So, meanwhile, studios in the U.S. dropped the Bikram name and rebranded to Hot Yoga, as we all know it now. Really, former devotees have spoken out. There is that Netflix documentary that I watched, probably in 2020, came out in 2019, Bikram, yogi guru predator, exposed the allegations to the global audience. So if you've not watched it, definitely do. Highly
Yeah,
suggest.
I
It's
need to.
very interesting. But he still lives on and is still practicing. Worldwide, the 26 postures is still beloved by many. The culture around it has changed. Studios emphasize safety. Teachers emphasize autonomy. And the myth of the infallible guru has been shattered. So it's kind of nice. But he's a person that is a narcissist, misogynist, and honestly a coward for running, in my opinion. And not if you don't believe you have done any of those things.
Come defend yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Now
Yeah.
I feel guilty for taking a hot yoga class.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm like, oh my God.
Think with the changes that they've made, again, it helps to, they are trying to change where he was fully going with a lot of it and how his teachings were the more misogynistic and inappropriate, I guess.
Yeah. I've never had a male instructor for any yoga I've ever taken. So I guess I've never experienced anything.
I've only ever had female.
Yeah. And I don't think they've ever touched my body in dance classes. They do touch your body, but you usually have that conversation before the class begins.
Yeah.
But yoga, I've never had anybody. They might come and verbally say, oh, try this or modify this.
Yep,
but,
exactly. Yeah, same. So with it being cult-esque, what we know about cults and the dynamics, he's a charismatic and authoritarian leader. Yeah, he was. Demanded loyalty, positioned himself as the only true authority for yoga, punished dissent. He isolated with his trainings and his teachings, cutting off outside contact, controlled the environment physically and psychologically. He, in the documentary on Netflix, it's 104 degrees in that room, but he's standing up and sitting up on this stage telling you what to do and has a giant fan they've put in behind him to keep him cool. So he doesn't have to be 104 degrees. Only you do.
Well, but is that prolonged? Like these people are in 104 degrees for the 14 hours a day? Okay, yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Or for multiple hours a day, often, like, because then they go do the lectures and stuff. But yeah. And he's in his tiny little Speedo. Exploitation with the fees of training costs from 10 to 15,000, financial exploitation, emotional and manipulating, sexual exploitation through women, us versus them. Students were told outsiders didn't understand.
Oh.
And critics were dismissed as jealous or weak. And then totalistic, I can't say that word today, environment rules governed everything from speech to clothing to posture. So is it technically a cult? Inherently, no. But I think there are parts of it that could be considered cults.
Could people leave easily?
Yes.
Okay, well that's a
Yep. But change. I think you were kind of shunned and given a hard time.
Yeah, you might not be welcomed back, or
and you could not. You didn't get practice. Your certification, so you didn't. Yep. So it's that is all on Bikram Chaudhry.
That is wild. And I know you don't like it when it's too hot. So will you ever try a hot yoga?
So I love being hot, but I don't like sweating, which is so silly. And it's the humid heat. And I get itchy if I get sweaty hot. So I can sit outside in Arizona in 104, no problem, because it's the dry heat. But 104 in Florida with 100% humidity sounds miserable. So I'm not saying I would never try it, but I think I would have to be like towards the back where I could easily sneak out and get a breath of fresh air or cool off easily. You
can take a big thing of ice water with you, and they encourage you to, like, if you need to stop and take a break, or if you need to take a sip of water or whatever. Like it's the one I took was that way. It was not controlling and weird like this guy, but it was really a cool experience. Other than I couldn't hear any of the instruction.
Right. Which that would be hard. I think I would want to hear. And yoga to me should be quiet and relaxing and peaceful.
Yeah. This was in Highlands Ranch.
Okay.
Maybe it was just a wild hot yoga studio. I don't know. It was the only one I've tried.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, I would like it to be peaceful, quiet music, but I also would fall asleep. And I have in yoga before when they're like, just close your eyes. And I'm like, uh-oh, I'm out. Like, here I go.
I had to somewhat stay awake. Can't close my eyes. Yeah. So you would do another hot yoga?
I would.
Yeah.
I was excited when we had a studio that opened up here. I just never made it to it to try it. But I don't know if we do have one anymore.
I don't know either. I know there's one in Laramie.
Oh, I'd go to Laramie.
Yeah.
Those people seem like they'd be
the
Laramie folk.
Yes, they would be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, interesting. Yeah, this one I didn't know anything about, and I'll have to watch the Netflix
definitely
documentary and check it out. I do know from past things I've watched that yoga is a hot topic for cult activity, and it's part of why yoga had a negative connotation to it that I didn't understand growing up, really, but it makes sense now.
And I think it's following that guru, like for trainings and stuff like that. I think that's where it gets the bad connotations, because you're following a guru, you're following somebody's teachings, and you can't necessarily break off on your own. You have to follow these steps. And I think that's where it could probably, if not in the right hands, could be turn scary.
I think a lot of the lessons that we're learning here as we're kind of going through some of these is don't put anybody on a pedestal. Don't put anybody up there.
Yep.
Because they're really just as flawed as all of us.
Yep.
And the second you give them the spotlight and the power, they start wanting more and more.
Right.
If you keep putting them up there, you're going to be susceptible. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy. Should we go through our culty questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. What is the weirdest thing that you learned about this possible cult?
That people willingly peed in corners or in bottles during trainings because they couldn't just walk outside to the restroom, I would say.
Yeah.
That was... I sat there and watched the documentary, and they were saying that, and I was like, huh? And then I read it in multiple articles as well that people did that, and I was like, I cannot imagine.
No. But if you're sweating so much from being in hot yoga, would you need to pee that often?
You would think. But apparently, because they're in there for so long,
eventually they need to.
Yeah, and they do have their water bottles and stuff like that. So
okay. Weird. For me, it was the Speedo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
thought tiny black Speedo.
Yeah, that's a weird choice to make.
Well, when you watch the documentary, you will see his tiny black Speedo. Because they have plenty of videos, so be prepared.
I will brace myself.
Yeah.
What do we admire about this cult, if anything?
I do think that what he started with introducing hot yoga and the practice that it can bring, like you mentioned, the looking within and just the emotional release that you can get from yoga in general, and bringing that and introducing it really to the US a little bit further than it probably already had been, I think is pretty admirable. And I think had he not put himself on a pedestal and gone so far narcissistic and crazy and bad, it could have really been even better for him, and he could have kept his Rolls Royces and his Rolexes,
Yeah.
But he chose not to.
Yeah.
Well, he might still have them, I guess, in other countries.
That's true. He probably does.
Yeah.
I do admire that he brought the teaching to us in the first place, just because it has become what it is, and it is something accessible to those of us who maybe liked more detrimental physical activities growing up that our aging bodies can no longer endure. And yoga is a way for us to still challenge our bodies, but in a gentler, safer way. So I appreciate the exposure to the ideas.
Right.
But I also appreciate that those have morphed and twisted beyond him for different niche groups of people that need different types of yoga.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you, question mark?
I know. Bikram, I believe, maybe, thank you, kind of, I don't know.
What do we think this cult needs to work on?
Less tiny Speedos. Fully clothed people. Let's go with that. No.
That'd be good. That'd be good. I would say accountability.
Yeah. And yeah, I think
pay your debt. Go face your accusers. Go do what you've got to do if you believe that you're in the right. Just be accountable for what you're doing. And
100%.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. Okay, and finally, would you join this cult?
No.
Me either.
Again, I would do hot yoga. I said I would try. I would look at attempting a hot yoga class, but not taught by Bikram himself or the way it was 20 years ago. Now, yes. Yeah. Now his classes, yes. Or his teachings, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't join the cult. I would take another class. Classes are very expensive, so I probably wouldn't take that many.
Right.
So that tells you I would never join him to get a certification because I would never pay what he charges.
No, definitely not.
Too fiscally responsible to join this
cult. Good job, Jess.
All right. Well,
it's a crazy one.
That was a crazy one. Yeah. What I have planned for us for June is I'm gonna just break down cult characteristics.
Perfect.
And then we can cross-check it with the 5 that we've done so far, and where we think they plug in and where we think they don't. And then we'll try and take that checklist or touchstone with us through the second half of the year as we keep looking at cults in the United States. And then closer to Christmas, we will pick what country we will focus on next.
Love it.
If anybody has ideas or cults from other countries that you want to email us at, you can email us at cultycountry@gmail.com. So really, family, you can email us or just tell us at
dinner.
Got
an idea. Let us know. You can have our phone numbers more than likely as well.
Yeah. We do have quite a spreadsheet going, and it does have a handful of countries on it. So yeah, it's just kind of an ever-growing list, but we just thought we'd start at home first, and then we would branch out in 2027 into a different country and do a year's worth of cult activity
in those countries.
Yeah,
because a lot of the ones that are on that list are a lot larger. Would take, I think, more than one episode. Some of those.
Yes, and there's one in the United States that is. It crosses countries, and it would probably be a 2 or 3 episoder the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
So it may or may not fit in 2026. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a quarter. It takes up a quarter of one of our other.
You just do it in first quarter of 2027.
Yeah, and then transition over to the home country of where that cult originated. Yeah. So that could work too.
Something along those lines.
So we're just learning. We're figuring it out. We have our trusty editor and audio engineer, Brendan, with us, who gave us the successful episode last month. That was like
amazing.
A gift.
I know. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So for anybody suffering through those first 3, sorry, we got him on board now.
We have him full time now.
Yeah, we got an expert on the team finally, and we got it figured out. So thank you, Brendan, for all that you do for us. And with that, we'll see you next month. Try to question everything.
Yes. Have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye.